Hey, hey. This Corona's got me down, son. Never been a hypochondriac in my life until now. I'm like, bro, ugh. Okay. DSCR, NOI, and cap rate. I've broke down how they do appraisals. Okay. There's three different types of appraisals in commercial real estate. I don't want to say three different types, three different methods, I guess, to get an appraisal. So inside of a commercial appraisal is cost basis, income basis, and sales basis. Sales comparables, approach. Approach is the word I'm looking for. It's too early. So sales approach, cost approach, income approach are the three different metrics they use when they're doing a commercial appraisal. Okay. So, I broke this down several times when you see me speak. If you ever see me speak about buying or selling apartments, you'll see me talk about this all the time. Sales is subjective. Okay. So they can take, I'll give you an example. I'm going to draw a shitty state of Texas, but at least you'll understand what it looks like. Shitty state of Texas. All right. We're here. When we got our appraisal back, there was mobile home park. So our mobile home park is here. The appraisals came from down in here. Okay. And the reason why was because the appraiser got to pick which comps he wanted to use. So he used these. Now, the sales is based off of the cap rate. Okay. So, he said this one sold at a 9 cap, this one sold at an 8 cap, this one sold at a 9 cap, this one sold at a 10 cap. That averages out to be a 9 cap. So ours came in at a 9 cap. All right. That's how they determine what cap rate they're going to apply to your property. They go out and look at what's sold and what cap rate it's sold at. The driving force in this is pretty much, you've got to, there are people with cash that I don't know how to really tell you how, so let's say it came in at a higher cap rate. Let's say it came in like a 12 cap, right? But the seller, he's like, no, I've got to have this price, and he based it off of a 9 cap. So me being the buyer, I now have to make a decision. Do I bring more money down to where the bank will loan me money? If I do that, then the sales price on that property still gets recorded. So it's sold at a 9 cap. Even though it appraised at a 12 cap, it's still sold at a 9 cap. The market just spoke loud and clear. If I came in with cash and somebody had it listed on the market, and I came in with cash and bought it, and I bought it at a 9 cap. So, like people get tripped up here and they think, well, it appears that if it doesn't appraise at a lower cap rate, how do cap rates come down? They come down because buyers like me are willing to make up the difference, and sellers aren't willing to budge on their price. So the market always speaks true and fast. Ours came in at a 9 cap, but they got to go pick where those deals that they want to do. And they could have picked, hell, we had one out here in Odessa on the appraisal. So you can look at the distance there. I don't know how many 100 miles it is. So they get to pick from whatever they want to pick from. The at least in mobile home parks, the year models of the trailers, the number of trailers, how big, like we had a 23-acre plot of land with it. None of that mattered. They comped that property against a little 11 unit on a half acre of land in San Marcos with a bunch of 60s and 70 model mobile homes on it that look like hammered dog shit. That's not really a comp to me to our property, because our property's out in the country on 23 acres. But it was what it was. We got a good cap rate on it. I'm not bitching. That's how the sales comparable rate is, or sales approach is used on the appraisal. The second way Okay, the income approach. Once they have established the cap rate, now what's the income? The income is NOI, net operating income. NOI, net operating income, not included. Okay, so let's say a property has an NOI of 100,000. Okay, we'll just make the numbers easy. Has a net operating income of 100 grand. That's what it made over the course of a year. Net operating income, 100 grand. What does not come out of NOI? Debt servicing does not come out of NOI. So if I'm paying a monthly payment, doesn't come out of NOI. CapEx expenditures do not come out of NOI. CapEx expenditures don't come out. So if I put roofs on, if I make any, just the way I kind of think about it, if I make any one-time repairs that, so I replace a hot water heater, so that's going to give me another, 10 years, hopefully, on that hot water heater. If I replace the air conditioner, that's going to give me another 10 years on the AC. Any of that stuff would not go against your NOI. So I may have made $100,000, but I serviced debt out of it. I might have paid $80,000 with the debt, monthly payments out of it. I got my principal pay down, but other than that, I only made 20 grand. And then out of that 20 grand, I might have put in 3 air conditioners. So I might have really only made $5,000 that year. That's the hidden part where whenever you're looking and evaluating a multifamily deal, you got to really look. You got to look at what's called a trailing 12 or a trailing 36. That's looking back 12 months or 36 months. And then you got to ask, what CapEx expenditures? Let me find my marker. You need to ask about CapEx. Where to write about it? Don't know where to write it at. Not a very good visionary with the board. Okay. So you have to ask about, not included, CapEx. You have to see what CapEx expenditures have been spent on the property within the last 12 months, 36 months. You want to get a good idea, not about what it spends, not about what it takes to operate it. Water bills, insurance, stuff like that you have to pay every month. Those are pretty consistent. Water bills get a little out of hand sometimes, but you want to see what have they repaired in the last 36 months. If they haven't repaired anything, that's a really bad sign for you, because you can bet all those repairs need to be done. Air conditioners, hot water heaters, all of that stuff. It has it's called deferred maintenance. It has a shelf life. It has a time when it's going to go bad eventually. It's going to go out eventually. So when you're trying to get this property under contract, if it needs roofs, if it needs ACs, if it needs all of these things, it might not need gussied up. It might not need, it might be renting as is with ugly paint. Like, y'all can't see the paint in our office, but there's ugly paint in here. We don't care. We rented it with ugly paint, but he just had to replace the air conditioner because we weren't going to stay in here without the AC. So he had to spend $6,000 on an air conditioner to get it put in. Okay. That's a CapEx expenditure. It does not come out of NOI. So they can kind of hide those expenses. You need to look at their trailing 12, look at their P&L and look and see what CapEx expenditures they've spent. And if they haven't spent any, they've either one, tried to hide those, which I don't know why they would probably write them off, or two, you're gonna end up holding that bag, because if they've owned it for 10 years and they haven't replaced any air conditioners in the last 3, you can bet something's going on there. So got that. The last one is the cost approach. Cost approach is like, I don't know about now, but for ever and always, cost approach is what would it cost me to buy this land and build this product. Cost approach is inflated like a motherfucker right now. They take the 3 and they put all 3 on there. And magically somehow they all 3 kind of end up being almost the same. But cost approach should always drag the value of any C-class property up, because you cannot build for, if you're building at $80, $90, $100 a square foot, you still got to buy the land. So, it's kind of hard to get into this stuff, as it is, because, you don't just buy the land that it sits on. A lot of people are like, oh, well, land's at, $2.50 a foot. Yeah, but you got to buy a parking lot. You got to buy the water retention area. You got to buy a lot of land. You can't just buy the land that you build on. So these things are very important. the 3 different types of appraisals or 3 different variables that they put into the appraisal is what you're looking at. Too many people get caught up on just the cap rate and the income, and they overlook deferred maintenance. They overlook, the risk. The C-class properties come with a lot more risk. People don't pay the rent as well. I can tell you straight up, we have to chase rent every month. We got 13 evictions on our board right now. We are chasing rent right now. It's not as secure as an asset as somebody that has to have a 650 credit score to get into a nice A-class property, so they pay their bills on time. It's a lot more stable income, a lot more reliable income. You can set your watch by it. You're not going to have very many late people. Every single month we have late people. You got to mitigate it, because it's like, hey, what do I want? Do I want nice steady income and a higher rent bracket that, is paying me a lower rate of return, or do I want a higher rate of return and I got to work a little hard for it? That's how you mitigate this. This particular 26 unit deal, I asked some questions at the beginning. I don't know that I ever really received the correct answers, but I think I have the answers now, because I was talking to a guy yesterday that knows a little bit about the property and has already looked at it and wants to buy it. Okay. So here's what is known about it, or that I know for certain. There's 26 units. They're renting for $700 a month. Okay. So 26 at $700 a month. Now, I seen a post on the internet where they had the NOI at 7K to 11K. That has to be monthly. Has to be monthly. There's no way that's the yearly NOI. So maybe I'm gonna assume that that's monthly. If I'm marketing this to any sort of buyers, I am not putting the monthly NOI on there. Okay, NOI. When I figure it, whenever I do it in front of a presentation, I always do it monthly and then multiply it out, because I want people to understand where we're getting the numbers from. Okay. But you always, when you're talking about NOI overall, okay, typically if you just say NOI, don't say monthly before it. Okay. NOI speaks to net operating income for the entire year. All right. So where's my calculator? Break this bitch down for you, and let's see what we come up with. Okay. Now, well, we'll just talk more about it. This particular property, I believe right now that the previous owner pays the water bill. Okay. So they're not individually metered on water, but I might be wrong about that. But the buyer that I talked to said that they all pay their own electric bill. So it's individually metered for electric, which is good. It's not an all bill paid complex, which is what I was thinking when I seen the pictures, because it's got like wood siding, it's a pier and beam. It's got some real weirdness to it. Has a ton of deferred maintenance, needs roofs, needs everything. Overall, I haven't walked it. I don't know if it's got central AC units. I do not know what breaker boxes are in the wall. I do not know, when the electrical was updated last. So you, in like a 60 model complex like this, you could end up with a bunch of 2-leg wiring, a bunch of wiring that isn't grounded. So you have to rewire the whole thing. Okay. You could end up with Federal Pacific boxes, are almost, there's a time period there when that's all they use. And so even if it does have grounded wiring, you would then have to replace all of the boxes. If it's all gas right now, right? So it's all gas and you want to keep it all gas, that would be your best bet. But a lot of that plumbing for the gas could be like ate up. It could, you go get a pressure test on it on your vacant units and it won't test. So now you've got a decision. Do I go back? Do I just go all electric, which means I've got to update the meter and everything to like a 200 amp service or 125 or 150? You got to stage that amp service up. So you would have to either choose between, hiring a plumber to replumb your gas lines or hiring an electrician to rewire the whole unit so you could carry the load of, I don't know if they have washer and dryers in them, but a dryer, a stove, a hot water heater, and an AC/furnace. So those would be things to consider when you're evaluating this deal, when you're looking at it. Those are things that you need to look at. You need to understand what in the fuck you're getting yourself into. Okay. Now, as a wholesaler that doesn't know shit about anything, okay, you're looking at it and you're basing it off of income, and this is going to look really good when we do these numbers. It's going to look amazing. But you need to understand what it's going to cost to rewire, what it's going to cost to replumb, what it's going to cost to put new ACs, what it's going to cost to do roofs. I'm not talking paint, floor, carpet, cabinets, any of that shit. I do not care about that stuff. If these units are renting for $700 a month the way they look right now, they can continue to look that way forever for all I care. Because what I need is a functioning heater. I need electrical that isn't going to burn this fucking place down. And I need hot water heaters that aren't going to wake me up in the middle of the night for the next 5 years because people are running out of hot water. I need to get all that shit out the way on the front side. The paint, the carpet, and whatever, I can get a handyman down the road, or I can do it myself. I do not have to tackle the aesthetics at the beginning, but I will have to tackle everything that functions at the beginning when I'm borrowing money, when I'm making my plans to do this. Okay, which is why. Anyways, I don't want to appear to be negative. So let's run the numbers on this. 26 times 700. Y'all see that? $18,200 per month at 100% occupied. Now, you're going to lose in a price range like this. You're going to lose about 45% of that to expenses. Okay, just put it on the bank right now. Vacancies being your biggest expense. Okay, vacancies, evictions. Repairs, maintenance, water, taxes, insurance, you name it, that 45% is going to cover that. So I take that and I multiply it by 0.55 because that's what I'm left with, okay? And that gives me what I think the NOI could be. So if I believe that the monthly NOI is $10,000, then I can multiply that by 12 and I've got $120,000 NOI, okay? So equals, we're just going to put at 55% so y'all can follow, 120,000 NOI. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, okay? These people are out marketing this deal right now. And if they were marketing on a cap rate, $120,000 NOI, okay, property is for sale for $390K right now. $390K. I'm gonna write that up there so y'all can remember. I already know. So I'm gonna take that 120. I'm gonna take that 120 like that, and I'm gonna divide it by 390. My purchase price equals. Look at that. That's a 30 cap rate. That's a 3-year ROI on investment. If you just rock with it how it is right now, if you don't spend any more money on it. So when these people reached out to me and talked to me about it, they need somebody to do the property management. So I'm like, hey, I need to talk to your buyer and figure out what the fuck his plan is. I might not be the dude to manage this shit, because if his plan is to just buy it and cash flow it, it might not work out. Won't be a good proposition for me, right? If I'm managing it and it needs roofs and it needs ACs and it needs hot water heaters and it needs all this stuff, right? And I say, yeah, bro, I'll manage that for you. Who has to take the calls when the hot water heater doesn't work? This and that. So I wanted to talk to the buyer and say, hey, what deferred maintenance items are you going to get out of the way on the front side? That's going to greatly impact how much I charge you for property management. I might charge you 15% if I'm going to have to dedicate a phone number just to answer calls for the bullshit that it's going to take, okay? How much capital are you going to inject into this deal to get it done? So 26 units, 26 doors, okay? I don't have any idea. They're all like long 10-plexes and long 6-plex. So, I mean, roof-wise, let's call a hot water heater $1,000. So we got $26,000 in hot water heater. Let's go ahead and replace all the appliances too while we're at it. Let's just get them out of the way, okay? So we'll do another $1,000 per unit for refrigerator and stove, okay? So now we're at what, 52,000. Let's just run a tally. 26,000. Let's add it up. Let's add it up down here. 26,000. Hot water. $26,000. Appliances. It needs roof. It needs roof. I don't know what those roofs will cost. 10plex, 10,000, 10,000, 20,000. 6plex, maybe another 6, 7. I don't know. I don't know what prices are like in Corpus, but let's just say 30,000. Let's just say $40,000 worth of roof. Let's assume there's no electrical plumbing, none at all. But we're gonna get the air conditioners out of the way right now, and I'm gonna give my bottom bitch price for ACs. $3,500 a unit times 26 is $91,000 for AC. So $91,000. What do we got? We hadn't done any parking lot. We hadn't done any exterior, and really and truly, when you're as a new owner, well, we'll save what you should do for the mastermind. I went live on YouTube with this too because I just want to go live on YouTube with it. So we'll just save what you should do, the stuff that'll make your life easier for the people in the apartment mastermind. So now we got a $390,000 purchase price plus 26 for hot water heaters, plus 26 for appliances, plus 40 for roofs. Might be light on that, plus 91,000 for AC. I should have wrote that down there. I did not. So people coming in later, I'm like, oh, bro, AC. I don't know why I made that a 6. Bro, need a Van White up in this bitch. All right, so we're at $573,000. Okay, so now let's take that NOI 120 divided by 573 equals still a 20 cap. 573K is the total. It's still a 20 cap. So that means within 5 years, a cash buyer would have back all of their monies, every single dime. Okay. It means that you could invest more capital on the front side. You could do the electrical. You could do the plumbing. You could do whatever to make your life easier as you own this. Okay. And anything you do to it, okay, is going to bring that cap rate. So, you want to buy at a 12 cap, okay, somewhere like that. But you want to sell at a 9 cap. Or actually, you want to buy at a 16 cap and then sell at a 9 cap. Okay, buy, sell. Anything you do to improve the aesthetics, okay, anything you do to improve the aesthetics is going to bring the cap rate down. So right now, if it looks like hammered shit, if you make it unlook like hammered shit, if you do parking lot, get the weeds out of the parking lot, do anything that you can do to make it look unlike hammered shit, okay, you can get the cap rate to come down. Because what did we say at the beginning? Hey, anything, it's all about the appraiser's opinion of which units he's going to pull for what cap rate. Now, in a market like this, I just talked with a guy the other day. He seems to think cap rates are going to go up. He thinks that because of the economic conditions, people not being able to pay the rent, everything else, that cap rates are going to rise. I tend to think that, there was already a lot of money going into real estate anyways. If anybody was able to get any money off the shelf and into bonds, if they're older in retirement age, they might be looking to park it into some real estate, some REIT, some sort of fund that invests in real estate for more steady, consistent returns. So I don't know. I don't know if cap rates would come down or go up. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but that seems to be his opinion. Doesn't really matter. This particular deal at $573,000 all in, you could be a 20 cap. Now, I want to hedge this. I've not looked at it. I told you, if it's gas, there's a very good chance. Very, very good chance. I've not done a house that has gas yet that we haven't had to go in and, in that age and find a leak and either fix a leak or replumb the whole side of gas. We did a deal that spent $45,000 on it in Waco, single family home, rocked along for a year fine. Person moved out, next person moved in, could not get a positive test on the gas, had to spend $1,800 replumbing it for gas, only had the furnace, was the only thing in the house that ran off of gas. But it was either that or rewire the whole fucking house, or not rewire the house, but upgrade the the outside box and everything to where we could put in an electric furnace or electric AC. And it's like, okay, so I might have to buy an AC and pay an electrician. That's going to cost more money than just spending $1,800 replumbing it. And I would guess that it would be, it would be better to probably just repair the gas on this. But there could be some plumbing. There could be some electrical issues that you would run into that you'd want to get out of the way. And you would damn sure want to expend, whatever on it. And remember, this 573 doesn't go into any of the aesthetics of the inside of the place. I said earlier, not worried about it. But if I'm getting it at a 20 cap, it would be well worth it for me. Well worth it before I go for my final bit of financing to get everything that I can get out of the way so I can do this. Overall, this deal, if you posted it with the NOI of what it is, just what it is right now, the $7,000 a month, that's what, $84,000 a year, is that right? Is that math? $84,000 a year NOI, and you're selling it for $390,000. If you threw some deferred maintenance items on there, pow, 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 pow. But said in caveat, do your own due diligence. If you knew how to talk to a property manager and tell them, hey, bro, this is how he wants to manage it. He's wanting to rock along like this. He's wanting to be a slumlord, or no, he's wanting to do a complete remodel. Like, if you could have those conversations, if you spoke the language, you could actually wholesale a multifamily. But whenever you look and sound and feel like a daisy chain wholesaler, what are the people going to think of you? Your buyers are going to be like, I might just wait this dude out. He don't appear to have the ability to close. He damn sure don't have the ability to borrow money. I don't know if I want to pay all this money. I think I can get a better deal if I was direct to seller. That might be one of their thoughts. Or two, your seller is sitting there right now. Right now, you've either convinced him that you do have cash when you don't, okay? And he's expecting to close, right? He's expecting to close. He's got all of these expectations on you. He's expecting a big payday. And if you can't perform on that, it's going to look pretty bad. You would need to be able to go talk to a lender right now and explain this so you can be ethical to your seller and actually close the deal if your buyers all just fucking evaporated overnight. If you could break this deal down like this ever so fucking nicely, just shitty handwriting, you too could wholesale it, but not even have to worry about wholesaling it. You could get, I know Llama loans. I know, hell, I might be able to do a loan for you here in a week. I need to talk with Eddie, but I might be able to do a loan for you here in a week. If you could speak the language and tell me and articulate an actual plan of action moving forward, you're going to have to do it. Now, I would blow your mind and show you. Well, I don't have to. I'll show you right now. Let's see what this property's worth. It won't do a 9 cap, so don't get your little dick hard. But let's that's what the property would be worth at a 9 cap. $1.3 million. This is a double up from here, but you're going to have to spend more on it. You're going to have to spend a few $100,000 more. You're going to have to get some payment in there. You're going to have to get it looking swell to get it at a 9 cap. But hell, even at a 12 cap, this deal bangs. So I only show y'all this because if you spoke the language, if you had a clue, this property wouldn't be sitting there like that. That's why whenever it came up, I was like, hey, let me in there, coach. But anyways, I'll see y'all.